What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Moose Media. Thank you so much for joining me. First and foremost, I really appreciate all the support I'm getting from everybody so far. The amount of love I'm getting on the account is really, really great. So keep on sharing, like, follow, subscribe. Every single little bit helps, and I'm really appreciative for it. But let's get into today's video. It's the all-time Toronto Raptors list. Okay, we're doing this on Tier Maker. We're just gonna look at the all-time players and kind of where I rank them. So these are gonna be Supreme, A, B, C, D, F. So these are kind of like the top of the top, and then you got the rest of the ranking. Okay, we got to start off DeMar DeRozan. That's an easy one. Gotta be in the Supreme tier, absolutely. Antonio Davis, I feel like he's like a B type, B type player. Like, he's up there for sure, but at the same time, he was somebody that was really good, but wasn't like an all-star or anything. But he was great for the Raptors. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I'm gonna put him in the B tier for now. VanVleet's got to be in the A tier. He's just elevated his game so much, and now is one of the most well-respected players in the NBA. He can shoot it from literally anywhere on the court, and he's somebody I'm a huge fan of. So Fred VanVleet absolutely is gonna be in the A tier here. Chris Bosh, Supreme tier. The guy, I can't say it enough, was just elite for the Raptors in his time. Took us to the playoffs after the Vince Carter years, the down days. Yeah, Chris Bosh is one of the reasons I fell in love with the Toronto Raptors in the first place, so he's definitely up there in the Supreme tier.
Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you go get an all-star ballot right now and punch in my name. That's right. Remember, it's Chris Bosh.
Doug Christie I can put in the B tier. He was quite a good player, averaged like 15, 13 points, was playing like 38 minutes a game for us. I mean, the best years of his career were in Toronto, so I definitely have to give him some kudos for that. So Doug Christie goes in the B tier. Chris Boucher, we can put Chris Boucher in the C tier. He's kind of D tier. Yeah, he's been doing well. He's a good rotational guy just this year, though. Like, this is kind of the year that he started that. So, like, that's why he just crept into the C tier for me, at least. Jeremy Lin, Jody Meeks. Yeah. I don't have to say much about that. Amir Johnson, C tier player. All hustle, all heart. Was just like a very good rebounder. Worked his butt off every single game, and he was so passionate playing for the city of Toronto. Amir Johnson was also, fun fact, the last player drafted out of high school in NBA history. It's a little knowledge for you. Who's next? Kawhi. Bruh. I don't really gotta say much. You know what I'm saying? Hakeem Olajuwon, obviously one of the all-time greats for basketball. You know, Hakeem the Dream. He won almost everything that you could win as a player, but he's going to be a D tier for me in terms of actually playing with the Raptors, because everybody forgets this part of his career for good reason. Hakeem the Dream, with the Raptors. So let's just leave him there. Kyle Lowry is in the Supreme tier. Arguably the best Raptor of all time, honestly, considering that, he went through the grind of the DeMar DeRozan days, hustled, was consistent. He's the motor of the team, the engine of the team. We couldn't have won the championship without him. And I think Kyle Lowry definitely deserves to be in that Supreme tier with those guys. Pascal Siakam is now taking the steps into being an A tier guy. I think because these two won the championship, it gives them the ability to be an A tier type player. Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet were a huge part of the reason that we won, and they've improved their level of game every season from C to B to A. So I think now they're in that A tier of all-time Toronto Raptors for sure. When you got to mention them in that. Patrick Patterson, I kind of want to put him down here. He was a good rotational piece. You never knew what you were going to get with Patrick Patterson. I mean, he was supposed to be a starter one year, and he was coming off the bench when the season started because he wasn't good enough. So Patrick Patterson is in the D tier for me. Mo Pete. I kind of want to put him in the C tier. Mo Pete is like, but he's like one of those guys, he's just one of those all-time Toronto Raptors that was just consistent and played with us so well. He was a little bit better than the Boucher and like Amir Johnson types. Yeah, I'm going to leave him in the B tier for sure. Jonas Valanciunas, also a B tier. My favorite Toronto Raptor of all time. You guys, if people know me, you know that this is, I want to put him in the S tier. But I love Valanciunas just because he was one of those guys that was so committed to playing basketball. He only cared about winning. Even if he was playing 5 minutes a game, 30 minutes a game, all that was important to him was success of the team. He was so unselfish and so humble. And he was a good rebounder. Defense obviously.
All right, I get it!
We're going to put Valanciunas in the B tier. Alvin Williams. I feel like Alvin Williams deserves to be in the B tier as well. I mean, I got to look at, hold up. I think Alvin Williams is going to be a C tier guy for me. I thought he was a B tier guy, but looking at the numbers again, he definitely wasn't ever that efficient of a player, was a good role player. Kind of like Amir Johnson, Chris Boucher, good role guys, were on the team for a decent amount of time, so I'll give him that respect. And he's a sportscaster now in Toronto, so much love to Alvin Williams. Jalen Rose is also a C tier guy. Played most of his formidable years in Toronto. Was a good guard, played really well, but I just don't see him really elevating into one of those B tier type players. Because, Jalen Rose was pretty good. He's just like, he's borderline for me. That's the thing. It's like, if I'm putting Mo Pete in B, it's either Mo Pete or Jalen Rose, I think. And I got to put Mo Pete. I just have a little bit more of an attachment to him because I watched him play a little bit more than I did Jalen Rose. And Jalen Rose got sunned by R.I.P., one of the greatest of all time, Kobe Bryant.
I'll have a vodka martini.
How many olives would you like?
81.
So for that reason, he's going to stay in the C tier. Vince Carter is obviously an S tier type player. I know I got some of your hearts beating there, didn't I? I got you.
No.
But no, Vince Carter definitely goes in the S tier. Air Canada put Toronto on the map, won that 2000 slam dunk contest, which is a huge landmark moment for the Toronto Raptors. And he's just one of the all-time greats. He was the human highlight reel. Vince Carter, up there with some of the legends. Andrea Bargnani is a D.
Primo pasta and sauce.
Now, I know a lot of people would put him in the F tier, but my belief is that Andrea Bargnani actually had a couple of decent years for the Raptors. Had one pretty good year. He wasn't a great rebounder. He knew how to pick and pop. If he was in today's NBA, if he had been drafted literally this year, he would have had a completely different career. I'm not saying he would have been an all-star or, an MVP type guy, but he would have been a very reliable three-point shooter from deep, stretch the floor, classic 4 big. Andrea Bargnani would have thrived in today's NBA, but unfortunately, he wasn't drafted at that time and was the number 1 overall pick when we could have had LaMarcus Aldridge, who was sitting right there. So he's a D-tier player for sure. Lukas Nogueira, he is kind of a C-tier player, but I'm going to put him at D, just because he was a little bit less used than Amir Johnson and Chris Boucher. I mean, I feel like him and Chris Boucher are sort of in that same light here. I want to put Nogueira here, and he's a friend of mine. I know him decently well, so I love Bebe, but he's going to be a D player for me. DeMarre Carroll, I think we can all kind of agree that he's in the bottom right here. Our biggest signing at the time in free agent history was DeMarre Carroll. He was supposed to be the LeBron stopper. He was supposed to, solidify himself as that guy, and he just didn't do that at all. At all.
DeMarre Carroll, why are you even talking? You shouldn't even have an input. You're not good.
T-Mac is going to be a B player for me. He was kind of starting off his career in Toronto. This is his rookie season. His first few years, he was starting to become the T-Mac that we know. He's just missing the A tier for me. He would be this kind of player, but in actuality, because of his short tenure in Toronto, I definitely put him in the B tier. That's where T-Mac belongs. So this is kind of my all-time list. I'm kind of looking over it to see if I've made any mistakes. Drizzy and the Raptor, we can leave these guys down here they're going to be in the fan tier. Let's put them in the fan tier. I like it so far. I know Kawhi is maybe a little bit controversial for some people, considering he only played here 1 year, but he brought us a championship and was the leader on that team. So Kawhi Leonard definitely deserves to be up there. But other than that, I'm very satisfied with this list. I think it's a good list. All right, you let me know if you don't think it's a good list, all right? You can hit me up. Maybe we'll talk about it. We'll discuss. Thank you so much for watching Moose Media. Make sure to check out my Instagram page for more, and we'll be back with more videos.